50-year-old cold case getting fresh attention. New revelations tonight in the investigation into suspected serial killer Warren Forrest. Clark County investigators say Forrest may be tied to the death of a woman whose remains were found near one of his victims.
So we're talking about 20-year-old Carol Valenzuela, found murdered in August of 1974. Hunters found her body near 17-year-old Martha Morrison in a densely wooded area of Dole Valley. That's in eastern Clark County. And for decades, KOIN 6 has been on top of investigations tied to Warren Forrest. In fact, we were there just last year as a Clark County jury found him guilty of killing Morrison.
Ariel Yakabazi joins us live from Clark County. Ariel, you spoke to the families hoping for closure, and how are they hoping to do that even all these years later?
Jeff, Liz, as you can imagine, this has been a nightmare, an ongoing nightmare at that, for the last 5 decades for many of these families who still have not gotten any closure or even their family members' remains following their murders and disappearances. But those family members are still fighting for justice and asking for the public's help in more information.
This is by far the most complicated of our cold cases that we have.
For decades, detectives with the Clark County Sheriff's Office have investigated whether Warren Forrest is connected to the murders of 7 young women and teenagers in the Vancouver area.
I was 14 and I had no idea what happened.
That could include Jamie Grissom, who was just 16 years old when she went missing back in December of 1971. Her sister, Star Laura, determined to keep her memory alive.
I used to write her letters. I'd buy her birthday presents, Christmas presents. You know, I wanted to make sure she knew I hadn't forgotten about her.
And even 5 decades after her disappearance, with no remains found, she's still pushing for justice.
We just haven't found her remains, but we know who killed her.
Local law enforcement also still fighting, revealing new information in a news conference Monday afternoon.
When we reviewed the cases we are looking at that he's not been tried for yet, one of the top ones is the Carol Valenzuela case, of obvious importance because her remains were found in close proximity to that of Martha Morrison.
Fred Neiman Jr. with the Clark County Sheriff's Office says thanks to new DNA tracking advancements and more volunteers with their cold case unit, finding even more victims of Warren's might get a little easier.
We're also trying to track down additional witnesses or leads that were never fully developed during the decades of investigation.
And while investigators ask for more info, Star is also asking the public for their help.
I honestly believe the truth comes out one way or another. It'll come out.
Now, Fred Neiman Jr. also says he and his team have reached out to Warren as he still sits behind bars for his 2 convictions of those women's murders. And he says he still is denying any involvement in other disappearances and homicides that they are investigating at this time. But he still says, regardless, if you have any information about these disappearances of these young women and their homicides, you're asked to call the Clark County Sheriff's Office Cold Case Unit. We have more information on how you can do that on our website, KOIN.com. Reporting live in Vancouver tonight, Ariel Yakabazi, KOIN 6 News.